It was strange, but it was edible. It tasted good. It shouldn't have, but it did. And here we go, we're jumping into our next series, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our Polish Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Storm Gaming. It is Gerald. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the red Terran representing Team Hyper 1. It is HonMonO. And if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on how you think this series will unfold and who you think will advance on to the grand finals first. Will it be our Protoss or our Terran player? Best of luck. Best of luck with those predictions. And again, we'll be covering Cristiano and Nickrat after this series. Don't apologize for assuming otherwise earlier. I'm catching up on the chat. Catching up. Chef's kiss on that army composition. Oh no. Is it an army composition if it's mainly one unit? Like, is that... Can we call it that? I don't know. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. As we do have Gerald moving out with the Probe Scout. Likewise, HonMonO going for an economic opener. It's going to be a Rax expand here from HonMonO. Just an economic start. And we'll see what kind of direction we do head in. Now, something that I did mention earlier, at the start of HonMonO versus Moja, is, as we do force a bit of an off-center CC. It's okay, we can, of course, lift and land, but that is that HonMonO is hyper-aggressive, specifically against Protoss players. Against Terran, he's a little bit more standard, and to be fair, the last game was anything but standard, at least when it came to the army of choice. But, you know, it was macro-oriented, right? Like, HonMonO, he was getting like a 6th and 7th base, right? Like, he was working towards a longer and later game. Against Protoss players, HonMonO is usually in his face. We see very often 2-base all-ins, we pull the boys, we 2-base all-in, and we pull the boys again. We just double down, we commit, we rarely take a 3rd and 4th base, we rarely macro into a longer game. Is a rarity here for HonMonO, so I'm curious what kind of aggression we have in store for us here in Game 1 against Gerald. We'll see if we embrace the all-ins as we have in the past, or if we go for a different approach and go for something more macro-oriented instead. Oh! As Zealot has arrived, going to be delaying the CC, but the SCVs will be barely saved. As done here by HonMonO. Does save the SCVs. Bunker is done just in time. We shut down the first Zealots, and the CC can now be replaced, repositioned, and be on location. Now across the map we have our take of choice, going to be a Twilight Council open out of Gerald, very safe, working towards Blink. And I imagine 3-gate Blink out of Gerald. We'll see if he does cut corners, we'll see if he does go for a faster 3rd base instead. Keep an eye on our Protoss player. And speaking of 3-gate, there it is. 2 extra gates on the way here for Gerald. 1 in the main, so it's going to be 3-gate Blink from our Protoss player. Very safe. It's a way to be aggressive, to be defensive. It's not as aggressive as 4-gate Blink. It's not as greedy as 2-gate. It's right down the middle. I feel like it's ideal against a player like HonMonO. As HonMonO did go for a 1-1-1. Interesting. Okay. So really safe start out of Gerald, but HonMonO going for a more standard opener. Is HonMonO going to expand? It's possible. We're kind of leaning in that direction. Meanwhile, as we settle into our semifinals, a big shout out to Gemini. Oh my god, Pappy. GG Emini in the chat. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great time. Hope you had a great stream. I assume that you were covering the All Things Protoss Team League. If so, hope you had a great time, and I hope many shenanigans were had and PvPs were held. Yeah, let's go. I'll leave it at that. I have tuned into some of those broadcasts, and some wild things happen in the All Things Protoss Team League. It's crazy. But I hope you had a great time. And again, shout out to Gemini. Do consider following Gemini as well. Does do a lot for the scene, a lot for the community, especially the Protoss side of things. Again, All Things Protoss out there would be worse off without Gemini. So big shout out. as we do have HonMonO rotating around, getting eyes on the third base. Likewise, Gerald missing the army, or they do miss each other. Going for the natural. Tank getting in position. Not quite ready. Boys being pulled. Can we get the tank? Oh my god, we can! A clutch blink from Gerald. We'll shut the tank down. At the same time, his own third base is under fire. The third base is going to be cancelled. It's going to be brought low, but at the same time, we have Gerald in the main. Yeah, Marines are going down. SCVs as well. HonMonO just barely wasn't ready for this. And we get 12 SCV kills. Meanwhile, across the map, we should force a cancel, but the base is still up and running. Can we save it? Can we save the expansion? We can. We can, and we will. We clean up the Marines. We shut down the Cyclone. A very clutch hold. And Gerald, he saves the base. He saves the expansion. He scouts the Banshee. The Banshees are being hunted down. And again, Gerald has plenty of time to get detection ready. As the Bay is on the way. And I'm assuming we have an observer. Yeah. He's going to be recalled back home. Stalkers are here. The observer as well. And we will shut down that Banshee. And with that, HonMonO's in a rough position. Looking at the units lost tab, we lost our Marines, lost 12 SCVs, the initial tank, the initial Banshee. And we did not deny the third base. Geralt is looking to snowball out of control. We are not there yet. We haven't reached our final form. We're still waiting on the Bay to finish up, the Gateway Explosion. But once all this does kick into gear, I mean, we're going to have Colossus, Charge Lots, +1, Immortal Production as well. Things are looking rough for HonMonO. We'll see if we can bring it back. I mean, drop play is an answer to this. We can try to bypass the army, get across the map, get into mineral lines. There is potential for damage. So we do pick off a Stalker. Not bad. Geralt overextending. Second Banshee's moving out. Bio Army staying back at home for the time being, respecting the Stalkers. We see Geralt fanning out, making sure that if there was any kind of drop play, he would be able to spot it and deny it. As Geralt, he does try to form a ring here around HonMonO. At the same time, Banshee does slip in. Into the main. Reddening the mineral line. But with the help of the shield battery, we're not really getting much done. The natural is more exposed. We get one probe kill, but we're not going to get much more than that. And 2 probes go down. And the Banshees were lackluster. HonMonO does break out. Breaks out of the contain. Has a hefty Marauder army. We'll see how HonMonO does end up moving out. I mean, he's got his Ghosts, he's got EMPs available, Vikings are amassing as well. No third CC yet. I imagine if we get a third base, it'll be as we move out across the map. But HonMonO has been stuck at home for quite some time. And Gerald even taking a 4th base. Oh my god. He's got double the base count. And HonMonO at this point is committed. We're a little bit too far behind. It does feel a little bit late to pull the boys, but I wouldn't be opposed to it at this point. Do we catch the Observer? We attempt to. Observer goes down. No detection, no vision. And do we send it? Do we send it back? We're thinking about it. Someone is moving out. And he has been spotted. Geralt is at least trying to slow down the push, picking away at the army. That's 3 Colossus lying in wait, though. Oh my god, that's so many charge lots. Nice EMPs. The EMPs are brutal. Disruptor has arrived. We have the 1 Nova. And we're getting on top of the tank. The tank is going to go down. Nova goes off as well. Doesn't connect. Very nice target firing. But the Colossus, they wreak havoc. We shut down every single Marine. And we shut down the army. The Vikings go down. Liberators don't even get a chance to siege up. And there's no third. The third base just now starting. That's a rough third base timing here for HonMonO. As he's down heavily here in economy, in army. You can see HonMonO, he's now turtling up, but this is more of an afterthought. This was not the initial plan. This was never the plan for HonMonO to take a third base in this kind of position. And Gerald is looking to break that third. There's not much to stop him. We have 0 ghosts. 3 ghosts are on the way. They're gonna pop out in a couple of seconds. Decent mine shot. Warp Prism into the main. Gerald rotating around. Making his way towards that third. Warp Prism does get in. That's 10 zealots at a time. And we do hit the main base. SCV's going to be going down. At the same time, Gerald, he can break through towards that third, and we are pulling HonMonO apart. The ghosts are distracted. The first Liberator goes down. The third base is not even going to finish. We're never going to get that third. We do allow... There we go. As he forces a cancel. Zealots recalled out of the main. And Gerald takes another base and gets a 5th. 5th Nexus on the way, 2nd Robo, double disruptor production. Gerald is about to max out, and when he does, then he can move out. Then he can try to break that third. HonMonO does find the Warp Prism. Not bad. Gerald may opt to rebuild it so he can reinforce. But he's about to max out. Does max out. What do we have to work with? We have 3 disruptors, 2 colossus, 33 zealots. That's a lot of zealots, pappy. That's a lot of zealots. That's double the marine count. That's what that is. Dude made out the mine shot. Never goes off. Gets a winter mine. And we're going for the other as well. Both winter mines go down. Some mine shot. That one Liberator doing what it can, holding its own. Do sniper disruptor. But we pull the trigger. We're at least looking to. I mean, the choke point is brutal. We now up to 3 libs. Okay. 3 Liberators. HonMonO, he's holding. We get the third. It gets up and running. Okay. Does get the third base. Wintermine resets. And you can see just how difficult it is to break this entrenched position on Golden Aura. It is brutal. And Gerald instead is taking up into Sky Toss. We're getting ready for Carriers and Tempest. Nervous going up. Getting a Marauder, a handful of Marines. Another Marauder, not bad. Yeah, 2 Stargates are on the way, plus 1 air attack. Getting ready for that late game composition. The Nova does overshoot. Ooh, but the second Nova does connect. Massive connection. Ooh, going for the Winter Mine. And Gerald should still be able to break this position. I mean, if we force our way into this, it's not going to be pretty. Gerald will lose a lot of units, but can still break through. Gerald doesn't want to throw away his lead. Warping into the main. Massive warp in. Another 10 zealots. They deny the 4CC. They came to the production. And they create an opening. And now we get on top of these Liberators. And GG gets called. It's just too much. And Gerald will take game number 1. GG. Oh my god. I was worried we were going to be there a little bit longer. I was worried that that Gerald would back off and actually remax on Carrier, which would take a lot longer to really get going, but in the end he was able to distract HonMonO, able to drag the Bio Army into the main, and then break through. GG, well played. Again, Gerald's able to break through in the end, and with that, we're getting ready for game number 2. Going to be loading into Oceanborn. Now again, as a reminder, the reason why it was such a brutal showing there is because HonMonO had a really rough start. If you recall, HonMonO, he was out of position, he moved out across the map with his main army, which meant that he was exposed back at home. He lost the initial Banshee, he lost the tank, he lost 12 SCVs, and he didn't really get much in return, so he just had a really rough start, and he was behind early on, and was having a really hard time catching back up. He did commit very hard to an eventual move out, but he was shut down by Gerald's army. Gerald was just too far ahead. And we'll see if we can bring it back here in game 2. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the Polish Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Sidestorm Gaming. One game away from making it to the grand finals, it is Gerald. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Team Hyper 1. It is HonMonO. Unamas one more game, and HonMonO will advance on into, or will be able to force the ace match. We'll see if he can get there. We'll see if he can force it. As we have to take a bit of a breather, wipe the slate clean, and approach this with a fresh mind. You know what I want. 2 base all in, baby. I'm ready for it, baby. I'm ready for it. We'll see. We'll see how HonMonO will approach Gerald here in game 2. For now, economic opener, we have the 1 gas geyser for HonMonO. So going for a Rax expand. Economic start at least. Likewise, Gerald coming in with a probe scout to make sure he doesn't get proxied or cheesed or any kind of early game shenanigans. Making sure that everything's on the up and up. The probe is soon to arrive. And there we go. The CC's on low ground. The probe is not able to delay, at least not too much. Does tase away at the SCV and will force a second worker down to the low ground. Oh, we do get an SCV. Oh, that's a rough start for HonMonO. Yeah, that worker should not have gone down, so a nice pickoff here from Gerald. Does get the first SCV. Behind this, running out the first Stalker. Getting into our own 2-base setup. And I'm curious if this time, there we go. I was going to say, I'm curious if this time HonMonO delays the starport. And we are. That is a second Rax. And I'm waiting for the third Rax. We are waiting for it. Show us what you got. As Zealot has arrived, the bunker finishing up just in time. Zealot going for the SCV. Will delay the expansion. It delays the natural. Probe gets focused down. Ooh, that is not a third Rax. This looks like a 2-1-1. Okay, so we're going into fast stim. This should be a fast stim, and this should be a bit of a double medevac drop play here from HonMonO. We'll see if he does something crazy and delays the starport even further and goes for a third Rax. But for now, this is going to be a 2-1-1 variation from our Korean Terran. Ooh, to bleed off one of those Marines. Oh, second Marine goes down. Nice control here from Gerald. There's that stim, as we mentioned. Again, for those that are curious, this build is something you see a lot more often against Zerg players, less so against Protoss. Oh no, as we get in! No shot. The Adept does shade into the main base. We see everything as well. We confirm the 2-1-1. Big scat for Gerald. And just like that, Gerald, he is now aware that he can be a little bit greedier initially, and to be ready for a double medevac Marine drop. Knows to get ready. We have 2 more gates on the way. It's going to be 3-gate blink. Meanwhile, Stalkers are wreaking havoc in the natural base, and we are denying so much mining time. We get an SCV kill. Not many SCVs have gone down, but we have so many workers just not doing anything here at the natural. The base getting low. Gerald has just gotten so much value already here so far. Oh. Going for another warp in. Keeping the pressure on. And how many Marines have fallen? We've gotten 5 Marine kills already. This is important just because, remember, we want to hit a double medevac stim timing. But we're losing a lot of Marines already. We're going to have that much less to work with that timing, with that push. Oh boy. And Gerald is still being active. Still being active on the map. Dark Shrine follow-up as well. Oh my god, we're doing everything. Dark Shrine and a Bay. ¿Por qué no los dos? Why not both, man? Why not both? Here we go. Double drop on the right-hand side is moving out. Likewise, Gerald's getting ready for his own aggression. Bearing in mind that Gerald could always recall if things get a little bit too intense. The main base is very exposed. Now, this is a big reason why 2-on-1s are often not seen in TVP. The reason why, it delays tanks. Big delay on tank production. 0 tanks in the main. The first tank is about to pop out, just as the Stalkers bust in. And there's not much of them to defend. Tank does siege up here at the ramp. That's a kill! That's a kill in the 3rd CC. Double drop has to go in, and this drop has to get a lot of damage because we're just wreaking havoc in the main. It's going to be 8 SCVs going down. The Marines are revealed. The Stalkers, they recall back home. And HonMonO has lost so much here. It wasn't just 8 SCVs, it was a kill on that CC. 400 minerals down the drain. And here come the Dark Templar. Do you have a skin? Does take down the first ET. And there is no second Dark Templar, thankfully. But it is keeping HonMonO busy. Does keep him pinned back. More DTs spawning in, and it looks like the warp in will finish. We do get the prism. Oh. And there's that first scan. We get 1 Dark Templar. Another scan in the main. Each scan is brutal. And back at home, we have Colossus amassing. The 3rd base was delayed. It's a very late 3rd for Gerald. But he does snipe the SCV. Up! He gets caught out. Not bad. HonMonO catches 3 Stalkers. 3 Stalkers go down. That's something. We're gaining some value. Are going to be gaining value. Scan reveals the 3rd base, reveals that it's still on the way. So again, a big delay in the expansion because of all this tech. Again, Double Forge, Bay, Dark Shrine. That's a lot of tech before expanding. Because of that, even though HonMonO's 3rd base is insanely late, it's actually not that bad compared to the 3rd base of Gerald. It could be worse. Tanks are getting ready. You can see the Medevacs trying to bait the Stalkers in. Oh, there's the bait. We get a Stalker. Forcing another scan. That tablet's cleaned up. And now HonMonO is going to try to stabilize and fortify himself here on 3 bases. Geralt, meanwhile, taking a 4th. Saturating his 3rd. Getting into mass charge lots. Pushing into the siege line is not going to be easy. So Geralt will most likely have to wait until HonMonO takes a 4th. And build up back at home. Go HonMonO going for a doom drop. Meanwhile, Gerald double expanding. He's crazy. Getting a 4th and a 5th base. Ay, ay, ay. Lost his mind. Meanwhile, the drop is spotted. We shut it down. The Colossus are here, forced to pick up. At the same time, though, the tank's getting within range. Tank volley goes off. Gerald cannot take a fight right now. He has Colossus, but he needs a buffer. He needs some kind of support for those Colossi. Does need more Zealots. Speaking of, Zealots going for a run across the map. Going for the third. And we only get the 2 Zealots into the mineral line. No major damage. At the same time, War Prism sneaking into the main. HonMonO does respond. But should he have? Zealots taking on top of the tanks. 1 tank goes down. Ooh, a little bit of mistargeting as well. Do you pick off that turret or that tower? I should say HonMonO does. A bit of panic from the Terran player. I'm still not fully convinced by this dive. Oh, we do cut off those Marines. Nice force fields. Catching them out. Likewise, getting to disruptor production, more gateways, more zealots. Bearing in mind as well that even though we've been mass expanding, we're not taking any gases. It's just purely mineral income to just warp in as many zealots as possible. Just pure charge lots. Getting up to 10 gateways. Sorry, 14 gateways even. Is it 14? 12. A 12 gate set up. Another expansion. Another Nexus. And HonMonO is slowly catching up in supply, bearing in mind that Gerald, he will always have a larger bank, true. Does have a lot of resources to work with. And Gerald does want HonMonO to move out. Which is why HonMonO won't. He's going to slowly take a 4th base. That's going to be the big moment for Gerald. Once HonMonO expands, he will be spreading himself a little bit thinner, but that is still a lot of tanks. A lot of tanks, man. If you hadn't noticed, it's mainly tank marine. It's purely tank marine. 0 marauders. No marauders, no ghosts yet. We're now getting to liberators, fusion core, that should be for liberator range. But again, marine tank is the go-to for HonMonO. Gerald's maxed out. And Gerald, he does need to trade. These tanks are looking exposed. They're looking vulnerable. Can we dive in? We can. Yeah, Zealots, they get 1 tank so far. They get 2. 3rd tank goes down. We got a 4th tank as well. Barely not. Okay, 3 tanks. Oh my god, the tank volleys. Jesus. Tank volleys are insane. I don't think Gerald is set up for Sky Toss. Yeah. No Stargates, no Fleet Beacon, no Sky Toss. Gerald has to commit with the ground army, getting even more tanks. Again, all you need is Zealots. If there's no support, the tanks, they just crumble, they fall over. Gerald, he does rotate over, coming in with his army. Just the 1 tank is not going to be enough. The tank goes down. We have 10 Dark Templar coming in. They blink on top of the army. Not going to be the cleanest trade when we shut down all the bio. We're getting on top of the tanks, and it looks like Gerald has finally done it. He breaks through the front line, breaks through into the natural, and we have a handful of Vikings. We have some reinforcements on the way, but we eviscerate the economy. 26 SCVs, 28. 32 workers going down. And HonMonO just doesn't really have much left over. There is that one tank. We do avoid it. We just step over towards the right. DT slipping into the main. Again, it came with the production. GG gets called. There's just not much left here to work with, and Gerald will take the series 2-0, and he'll be our first finalist of the night. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Gerald, as he will take the series, will advance on to the grand finals, and we have yet to determine who will face off against him. Will it be another Terran or another Protoss? Let's find out. Let us find out. My condolences to HonMonO, as he did have a rough start. To both game 1 and even in game 2 as well. He kind of stumbled his way towards the mid game. Gerald was able to just gain control of the series, really, and was just in HonMonO's face time and time again. It was insane just how aggressive he was and how assertive he was. And yeah, with that, GG. GG, well played. GG, well played. Gerald will be advancing on, and now we're getting ready for the lower semifinals. Let's go. It is going to be Cristiano versus Nicorak.